Hello, all. It is I, Todd here, and I'd like to cover a topic that I just find is very ironic these days, in the creative fields at least. I don't know if any of you have ever heard this topic, Deus Ex Machina. It means ghost of the machine in Latin. And it's a trope in writing that's, well, frowned upon. Basically, what happens is you'll have a story flow just right, and then they'll have an impossible problem or a way they can't write themselves out of it, so they make stuff up. It was literally made for plays where in Greece where Zeus would show up at the end for no reason, just out of nowhere. It's kind of a desperate play, a desperate ploy for writing creative works. It's frowned upon. You need to flow. And I just find it very ironic about ChatGPT because literally a ghost in the machine. No cap. And yeah, it's fascinating how art imitates life and life imitates art. We're living through literal literary tropes. It's fascinating. And again, I don't use ChatGPT for any of these videos. I don't use generative AI. I use it for editing. Okay, I've met that several times. It's not really a mystery. And it's helped my writing. It has a little bit, a few points here and there. And just the basics. Getting like a writing class or a writing boot camp or some type of external learning would be great, but I'm learning. So yeah, and I think that's another reason that people don't like ChatGPT or AI. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent. I get the notification for AI mode every time I open Google every single time. I've not turned it on once. It hallucinates. 60% or so gets wrong. I don't need that. I can make enough mistakes by myself, thank you very much. And yeah, it's just poetic irony, literally, where a ghost in the machine is causing a lot of problems. And people are getting tired. They're learning to find their own voice, one way or the other. And ChatGPT is forcing people to learn how to do things right. Again, I don't think ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSpeak, or anything like that is going to replace people. It will make people who are good better and weed out the mediocre or the quote unquote bad, which I think is a good thing. A lot of people substitute merit in their work for identity, politics, religion, buzzwords, nostalgia, and just not stay on the topic of making good work. And that's where a lot of people lost, I think, in the last couple of decades, seeing the writing. I'm a big movie watcher, a big movie auteur, mind you. And I've noticed writing from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2025. And I believe a lot of the movies beforehand were passion projects. Some of them weren't great, some of them weren't perfect, but they did what they had to with what they had. It was a different time period. You see, I believe art in any period is like a time capsule, whether people judge it that way or not. It's a encapsulation of the times in which they're shown. The Renaissance will be different from the Reformation and so forth, stuff of that nature. And I don't think in the last 10 years or so, movies, books, art will be looked on very fondly because a lot of it was preaching to me, and I didn't like that. And a lot of people don't either. And people are getting sick of it. Movie studios are losing movie revenue like crazy. Video games aren't selling. People are going back to older products. Why? Because let's face it, a lot of this stuff wasn't there a long time ago. And it's getting annoying. Reminds me of AI. It's just everywhere. You can't escape it. I'm like, man, I just want to go watch a good movie and not be taught something when it comes to what I want to enjoy. A lot of movies are lectures. That's why I loved watching the Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson. I love the Naked Gun movies. And they're definitely more risque today than they are back then, but I love that. It's unapologetically the 80s. And Leslie Nielsen is a tour de force when it comes to that. And you couldn't make those movies with identity politics, okay? A lot of them were based on jokes about cops and corruption and politics in the movies. That's what I've noticed. And this movie now has helped do more of that. And it holds up better than I thought. I wasn't expecting much. I have very, very low expectations that somehow seem to get lower and lower, but this one exceeded it. Because it was just a fun, stupid movie. There wasn't much social commentary. There wasn't like a critique of the times. It just wanted to be a fun, stupid, funny movie, and I applaud for that. It was honest. Like I make my work, it's honest. Good or bad, it's honest. Not trying to appeal to an audience that doesn't exist for my own benefit. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why? I don't know why this whole currency of virtue and brownie points is really the main form, because that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? This whole suffering for your art and wanting to just as a badge of honor, like you're a starving artist, I don't believe in that. I do other things. I see my art, my books, my poems, my stories and shirts as an extension of myself, but to a point where I'm willing to reveal to others who I am. Now, I see that coming back with nostalgia. A lot of the movies that make a lot of money these days and get lots of accolades are ones that are just like the old days. And I personally don't like thinking about the past a lot, especially my own. I like moving forward. But you can learn from the past what works, what makes sense, and not doing that, ignoring like you think you know better than these masters of their craft or these creative titans, which we still have some today. I've watched some movies in the last couple years that I really liked and were different and opened my eyes to a new art form. And no one wants to be challenged these days. They just want to be told what they want to hear. And ChatGPT is just another thing that does it. It's not the only thing. Mind you, it's one of the most prevalent, one of the most insidious. How it slowly takes away your ability to think for yourself. And I know people that use ChatGPT. I've had people reply to me with ChatGPT or something like it. And I can know right at the bat that's ChatGPT. And it did used to make me feel some kind of way. I'm not going to lie. But now it's just like, whatever. It's a tool. I blame a lot my problems for not being with the times and adapting. That's why I went to college, and I shouldn't have. Again, the doctor's layoff thing really just shook me. And yeah, I applaud people who don't want to use ChatGPT though. It's not a prerequisite. I'm not a purist or anything. Let's use it for what it is, a tool, a supplement. Okay? It shouldn't replace the diet or the training you need to be a great writer, a great creative, or even just a creative. Because it's subjective what is creative or not. And appealing to a lot of people is very, very hard to do. With people being very sensitive today, thinking their opinion matters more than anything else, it doesn't help. It really doesn't. People can't communicate. People can't think for themselves. It's like, well, what's the point? I want to talk to another human being, not some robot in flesh. And I see a change happening where companies are even saying they didn't use ChatGPT, which I hope is true. And I applaud that because I think we're going to have two markets, one with AI, one's without. And that'll just change the whole discussion. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you. Have a nice day.